Yo, what's going on, guys? And today I'm back with my NBA mock draft 8.0, and there's been some movement in the 10 spots, like 1 to 10 spots, mainly between Oklahoma, Golden State, Orlando, and all there. There's some rumors that are flying around from my sources, from The Athletic, Twitter, Reddit, everywhere that I compile, that I read hours on hours every single day. People have said stuff. So right now, down below, you guys might hear my little pit bull behind me. I want to hear your guys' thoughts down below. What do you guys think of the NBA draft? Who do you have? Whoever your team is it the Knicks, the Hawks? Is it the Thunder? Is it the Rockets? Is it the Timberwolves, Celtics? Who do you think they'll draft? The Celtics only have second round pick. And I will show you guys my second round once we get to it. But I just want to show the first just because it's like a 9-page mock. So again, let me hear those beautiful thoughts. Like and subscribe to support the channel. Cade Cunningham, we're going to get right into it. Obviously, he's the best player here. I think he's a guaranteed all-NBA player. Jalen Green has all-NBA potential. He's a lot more skilled and polished than Anthony Edwards was coming into the NBA. And I truly believe that, I'm like moving my little light right here. I truly believe that Anthony Edwards is the better athlete compared to Jalen Green, but Jalen Green has more skill and is more polished. So I think he could have a very similar rookie year to Anthony Edwards statistically. Scotty Barnes, the Magic have been looking for a guy like this, a guy who could handle the ball, who can guard basically every single position. And yes, they need shooting. And that's why I have them getting Moses Moody at 8, who's also a good defender. And you're like, he was inefficient in college, Moses Moody. And so is Scotty Barnes. I believe Scotty Barnes will find his three-point shot, and so will Moses Moody. Moses Moody will be a two-way scorer. He's going to be the next iteration of like those Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Jimmy Butler type guys who are 6'7", who play two ways or 20-point scorers and are one of the best perimeter defenders in the league. Then James Bouknight, it's widely believed, I've read on many mocks, that he's going to go to Oklahoma. Oklahoma like him over Jonathan Kuminga because they believe he's just as good as a defender and he's already a better shooter, and they need shooting. So that's what it seems like. Then Jonathan Kuminga, I think Golden State, they take him. A, they believe they can fix his shot and make him the player, but B, he is the highest upset. He has the highest value and upside value of any player left in the draft at the 7th spot, and he's the perfect asset to have in a trade for a superstar. So in this case, they take Jonathan Kuminga because either A, they believe they can develop him, or either B, they believe they can trade him. At 8, Moses Moody, I explained that already. Now Franz Wagner, he's 6'9", Sacramento. Imagine this guy playing next to De'Aaron Fox and Tyrese Halliburton, and either if they keep Buddy Hield and Harrison Barnes, he plays next to them, or if they get rid of them, he can replace them. Memphis moved up, and we've seen how Ja Morant and Kyle Anderson have played together. Now imagine Josh Giddey thrown in there, and then they can replace Kyle Anderson with Josh Giddey, and I really like the future of Dylan Brooks, Josh Giddey, and Ja Morant, and being around Jaren Jackson and Steven Adams. Charlotte, I really like the idea of how Ja Morant and Kyle Anderson have been doing their thing. LaMelo Ball and Jalen Johnson. Jalen Johnson is a great ball handler and passer and a great defender. All he needs is a three-point shot, and he's a great player. So yes, they need a center, but I think they have a bunch of they have cap space to get a center, and I really think Vernon Carey and Nick Richards, and who they can draft the center in the second round. Those three guys can rotate as the backup centers with whoever they pick up, like Montrezl Harrell or whoever's available in free agency. There's a few guys like Dwayne Dedmon who can actually come in pretty cheap and be a starter for them. Plus, they like playing small ball. Like, imagine PJ Washington as the small ball 4, Miles Bridges at the 4, and then you either have Jalen Johnson or Gordon Hayward at the 3, at the 2, Terry Rozier and LaMelo Ball at the 1. Okay, or you could even go, Gordon Hayward at the 2, Jalen Johnson at the 3, and LaMelo at the 1 with Terry Rozier off the bench, when their small ball lineups are going. That's just me spitballing right here. Corey Kispert, San Antonio has worked it out, and I know you guys are going to say, Sig, they have Jokic Poeltl, who's one of the best defensive centers in the league, okay? And they can go get an offensive center for cheap from free agency. Or in the second round, I have them drafting Santi Aldama. So Corey Kispert, they need three-point shooting. They really need it. And Greg Popovich loves three-point shooter. Corey Kispert screams San Antonio's first pick. Indiana has said they're going to trade the 13th overall pick if they don't find if there isn't an NBA ready player. Beside Corey Cresper, Chris Duarte, there's no other. Like, I think David Mitchell is one of the most NBA ready players in the draft. Yeah, he's about to turn 23. Yeah, he only has a 6'4" wingspan. Yeah, he's only 6'3", 6'2", and he shot 45% from three on 15 points a game. I think he's going to be a great sixth man or like just off the bench player this year. Love water. Golden State, they've been fucking tagged to Chris Duarte so much, and they took Jonathan Kuminga. They're going to go with a sure thing right here with Duarte because they know what they're getting. A guy who can start day one while Kuminga might not be able to play as much as Duarte. Makes sense. This is if they keep the picks. Trey Murphy III. Some people tell me he's not a shooting guard. He played shooting guard in college, and he's going to be more of a wing in the NBA. But I think to start, he can play shooting guard and the wing spot. And if he bulks up, he could play stretch four. But I think right now he's more suited for the wing guard spot. And I really like the idea if they do trade, Bradley Beal and keep Russell Westbrook, or vice versa, trade Russell Westbrook and keep Bradley Beal. Trey Murphy at the 2 spot. Denny Avdia at the 3 spot being the point forward and 4 spacer. 4 Roy Hachimura, then the center position being a rotation of Thomas Bryant, Daniel Gafford, and either Alex Lynn or Robin Lopez if they keep him. Now, at 16 and 18, I have the Oklahoma City Thunder drafting Usman Garuba and Alperen Sengun, and that is because I truly believe that Alperen Sengun has a body reminiscent of Kevin Love, and if he just can get himself in like 3-4 years into a similar body to Kevin Love had in Cleveland, he could be a stretch 4, and he's going to be a guy who's going to be a double-double guy, grabbing hella rebounds, being one of the better interior scorers. And if he can get better at drop coverage and positioning himself well, he could be a guy averaging at least a block a game. It's a hit or miss right there. But if he can get in shape, he can be a 4. Right now, he's a 5 because he doesn't have the floor spacing ability or the athleticism to switch, because him being a little pudgy. Jaden Springer, New Orleans has worked him out, and they traded up. They would like if Chris Duarte, Trey Murphy, Davion Mitchell, Corey Kesper. Basically, if anybody in front of Jaden Springer besides Alperen Sengun is still on the board, they're going to take him. But because I have them not being on the board, I'm saying Jaden Springer is going to Tennessee. Oklahoma also takes Usman Garuba. They get the scoring guy who's not good at defense right now in Alperen Sengun. But then they get the best interior defender in the draft who's not good at offense. So they get a guy who literally are completely opposite. And they now have 2 centers, okay? They have no centers on their roster. Now New York gets Isaiah Jackson. Mitch Robb is still on the team, but Isaiah could replace him, and Isaiah and Norvell Pelle can figure it out for the backup minutes, and it's right there. I have Kai Jones sliding just because he's a project, guys. People are gonna tell me, how do you say this, guys? He's a project, okay? Kai Jones won't be an effective player till maybe year 2, and that's if he really goes Jaylen Brown work ethic with it. Also, that's another thing with Jonathan Kuminga. He's either a more powerful Jaylen Brown or a more powerful Jeff Green. That's his ceiling floor. But Kai Jones, he needs 2 years. He's not going to be a starting caliber player till his 3rd, maybe 4th year. Weight-wise, things he needs to work on his game, like shooting and just getting smarter. So Atlanta, that's why I believe he'll slide. That's just not what you want as a lottery team. And that's why I believe a team like Atlanta is going to take him at 20, and they're going to let John Collins walk, because then he'll fight with Bruno Fernando for minutes, and Onyeka Okongwu will probably be the backup 4 or rotating starting 4 with Daniel Gallinari. Miles McBride, New York said they want shot creation, and Miles McBride shows shooting creation, 40% from 3, and he's a hell of a defender that Tom Thibodeau loves. And also, you got to remember, if they draft anybody, the Knicks, even if the person is a scorer, they still have to be somewhat competent on defense or showing that they try hard on defense. The Lakers go Jared Butler. This is perfect. Tenacious defender. Scored almost 17 points a game on 40% from 3. Great player. Okay, perfect. Houston, Zaire Williams had a rough year, but at this point, he basically is a low risk, high reward guy. Keon Johnson, same thing. They're both guys who didn't have great efficiency. Keon Johnson's an athletic freak. Zaire Williams, was a 4 or 5 star recruit, so he's great. So both of these guys are high reward, low risk, and you get on 4-year deals. Keon Johnson, Zaire Williams for the Rockets. LA, they need shooting. More shooting and like just size in the sense. Kessler Edwards can play shooting guard, small forward, and power forward. 3-year star at Pepperdine, PCA, Zoe 101, Pacific Coast Academy. I think I've said that in every mock draft. Joshua Primo, yes, they need other positions, but they have so many guards that Joshua Primo could sit for a year or two, and then they could sign a guy now or let one of the contracts expires. And when that contract expires, Primo will be a starter right then and there. Perfect. Jeremiah Robinson Earl, Blake Griffin's going to leave, and they need someone to replace Blake Griffin, and Jeremiah Robinson Earl could come in and play the same exact minutes or more minutes and be just as effective or even better than Blake Griffin, in my opinion, playing the same exact role as a stretch 4 and, the power, in a small ball 5. Bones Highland, he's been connected for months, 19 points a game, had like 5 assists a game, and shot basically almost 40% from the 3 line. So, like, he's a baller, and they need a lead guard to replace Ben Simmons if he does leave. And the Suns, I got the 2 people they're going is Sharif Cooper and Neemias Queta. And guys, I'm sorry, Sharif Cooper is 6'1" with a 6-foot wingspan or 6'1" wingspan. He's like under 200 pounds. Yes, he was a 20-point scorer, but he shot under 40% from both the field and 3-point. I just don't believe in him. And I don't see him as a first-round prospect. Yes, he's good. He's got elite passing ability and ball handling skills, but he didn't show that 3-point shot to be better in the NBA Combine. And the Suns have shown the tendency to just get their guy, even if they know they could trade back and still get it. And they're like, we're here, our guy's there, let's just get him. They did it with Cameron Johnson, and they did it with Jalen Smith. Both guys who were supposed to be not drafted in the lottery were both drafted in the lottery. Now, Neemias Queta, a lot of people are saying he's not going to go in the first round. He's going to go to the first round to the Phoenix Suns, in my opinion. Quentin Grimes, they need a defender, so they just go there. JT Thor, little side project for the Bucks. Also, let's go into the second round. Let me show you the preview. You guys can pause it whenever you would like. I'm just going through this to show you guys what it is while I take a sip of water. Oh, that was a good sip, guys. But yeah, this is the draft so far. I think it's pretty accurate. I'm very, very, very. Did I write Rokas Yodobitis twice? No. Rokas. I don't think I did. If I did, that would be the worst. Yeah, I only did it once. So, with that being said, now let's go with the first pick. I have them going JT Thor. It's a little side project for the Milwaukee Bucks that they could have. And that little side project would be great. JT Thor, little guy from Alaska, 6'10". Yes, he can shoot over anybody, and he's got a great wingspan. It's like 7'2", 7'3", 18 years old. Great little project. Ayo DeSumo, come on, guys. He's got the poise, the defensive ability, length, and the vision and athleticism that Tom Thibodeau would love. And he shot 39% this past year under 100 attempts and about 35% over 300 attempts in his college career. So shooting is getting better. Herb Jones, come on, his shooting kept getting better every year. 7 rebounds a game the past 2 years, a block a game the past 2 years, 1.5 steals all 4 years. He's great. He's at least going to be a backup or a multi-positional defender, basically for 5 positions. Then you got Joe Wieskamp, who I love. Joe Wieskamp is a stud, 6'7", 40% 3-point shooter. He's got the length, and he's going to give the Pelicans much needed depth at the wing position. Brandon Boston, Oklahoma believes they could probably fix him, and I believe that they could. I think John Capillari ruined him, and they're going to bulk up Boston, tell him to spend some time in the G League, and it'll work out. Detroit, they need some more scoring and shooting ability. Cam Thompson is probably one of the best natural scorers. He just doesn't play defense. Trey Mann, he's got the size, 6'5", 19 points a game, 40% from 3. He really has limitless range as a scorer, and he's got the length to be a second unit baller. Charles Bass, he's the perfect Sacramento King project big man who could score inside, rebound, and is kind of a sleeper, and he's perfect for Sacramento who needs a big man. Memphis, Isaiah Todd behind Brandon Clark and Jaren Jackson Jr. and Steven Adams. He figures it out there. Taylor Jenkins, probably, unless Isaiah Todd tells people not to draft him, I think he'll figure it out. But yeah, and he just needs to realize he's a shooter and a defender, not a shot creator. Then you got Santi Aldama. He did something that only Tim Duncan, Andrew Bogut, Jason Tomlinson, Lamai, Diane, and Santi Aldama did, which was average over 21 points a game, 10 rebounds a game, 2.5 assists, 1.7 blocks. He made 1.9 threes a game, 1 steal a game, 51% from the field, and 37% from 3. He's a baller, okay? He's going to be the biggest steal in the draft for the San Antonio Spurs. Detroit drafts Philippe Petrusev. He'll never come over. He'll never come over. He's going to be a Euro MVP like 4 times and still not come over because his game won't translate. Josh Christopher, because he's like, he can't defend at the NBA level, and he's a shooter, but he's not good enough inside. It's just read about him and you'll understand why. Josh Christopher, he had 1.5 steals and had decent numbers, but he doesn't look for his teammates, and he's kind of sometimes kind of lackadaisical on defense. Joel Yaya, it's kind of hard to gauge because he was like the 5th option, but he did everything so efficiently with very small sample size in a way. He's very talented. He's not special at anything, but he's decent at everything. Jason Preston's the past 2 years being the lead scorer for Ohio, averaging like almost 20 points a game, 7 rebounds, 7 assists a game, shooting decently, and he's a good guy. He'll spend a few years in the G League and then become a really good backup. Jean Bergan. No one's told me how to say this guy's name. Again, dummy. He seems all right. I don't know if he's going to be spectacular or anything, but, you know, he's a guy who's got length and he can shoot it. You know, probably be stashed for a little. Isaiah Livers shot 40% for multiple years for Michigan. He's a 6'7", wing, small ball 4. I really like him. Greg Brown's the next iteration of Jeremiah Grant. You know, he's going to be perfect for Atlanta that they got Kai Jones and Greg Brown, college teammates. And he'll take a few years, but he could be the next Jeremy Grant. Aaron Henry, a guy who could start today for, not start, but be a guy, key rotation with Jeremiah Robinson, Aaron Henry. Yeah, his shooting regressed every single year, but he's probably the 3rd or 4th most athletic person in this draft, and he's a great defender. Day'Ron Sharpe, Philadelphia needs a backup center. They get a high energy, high motor, good rebounding passer in Day'Ron Sharpe. Vrenz, they need shooting New Orleans, and they get another wing depth. You know, Jane Springer, and then they got earlier in the draft, Joe Wisekamp, and now they got Vrenz. A lot of shooting on this team. David Johnson showed he got better as a shooter. And yeah, I know they took Cam Thomas and Cade Cunningham. You get David Johnson to help fill out the guard rotation. New Orleans gets David Duke, who showed he's a really good playmaker, can play some defense and shoot the ball. He's got good size. Raekwon Gray, 260 pounds, that you'd like him to get down to 250, maybe 245. Shot 28% from 3. If he can get back and get that jumper to like 36, he could be a really great small ball 5 off the bench. Daishen Nix looked terrible, but if anybody could fix him, it's OKC. Charlotte would love another stretch 4, you know, or a wing in Matthew Hurt. If he can get more athletic and add strength to his frame and become an elite shooter, he could be great for them. Jericho Sims would be another center who could be a lob threat, and he can compete with Vernon Carey and Nick Richards for the backup spots behind whoever they sign in free agency. Rokas Yodavitis is another guard they could bring in who can help them, you know, run things and be a player for them who could shoot threes. He's got good vision. I think New York would like his creation. Brooklyn gets a bruising guy who could be a backup center and really physically impose his will against other players. Then Indiana gets Austin Reeves, who can actually make the roster. But that's basically it. Let me hear your thoughts down below. That's it. Till next time, guys. Puppies. Oh, hit that like and subscribe button.